Hello, and welcome to this hangout with Mounir Zok from the US Olympic Committee. Um, and yeah, so Mounir, could you just give us a quick lowdown of exactly what your role is?
Sure. So my name is Mounir Zok. I am the Senior Sports Technologist over here at the US Olympic Committee. I really like to think of my role as being the one in charge of making sure that the Team USA is not leaving any medals behind at the Olympic Games due to lack of use of technology in the preparation phases.
Okay, fantastic. And so, I mean, we've got a series of questions for you. And so the first one is, having worked in this area for the past 11 years, what do you think has been the biggest change up till now?
Oh my goodness. The biggest change, I would say, is in how all the devices are becoming smaller and smaller. I mean, when I began first working in wearable technology, the biggest issue was, in terms of how can we assemble a device that would give us, reading about activity. Sensors were too costly. They were a little bit big. The batteries were very big. They drained very fast, and I have to say that I'm marveled today at the increased processing speed of the chips. The capacity of batteries, the accuracy of the sensors, the big number of sensors available. They've made devices that are today on the market smaller, faster, more feature heavy, and nearly replacing entire electronic categories in the process.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, I agree. I was looking the other day at a T-shirt that actually manages to, kind of monitor everything that you're doing anyway. So, gone are the days of the kind of chest straps and the various electrodes that you have to attach to yourself, which is definitely a move forward. And it kind of goes nicely into our next question. I mean, how do you think that the miniaturization of this kind of equipment and these wearable technologies kind of across the last 3 to 5 years has kind of helped with the analytics approach that coaches can now take?
Yeah, well, see, I believe that with this big boom of wearable technology, in the rate at which breakthroughs can happen right now, it's very, very quick, and that's the 3, 4, 5 years ago even, it was still hard to collect data, so there was lots of focus on what kind of sensor shall we use. Are we able to measure, let's say, physiological aspects of the body while we are looking at the mechanical aspects of the body? How are we going to get data from one point to another point? Today, this is very easy, right? I mean, it's a given that you can collect any kind of information, any kind of data, any kind of number that you want. So the breakthrough and the challenges today are in terms of what do we do with all of these numbers. Now, how can we derive useful information? How can we get to actionable metrics from this big chunk of data that we are collecting? And this is thanks to the attention that the consumer market is paying towards wearable technology.
I think that's definitely the case. I mean, with the magazine, we tend to find that there's that's kind of increasingly what coaches are finding. We've seen that, especially within the last couple of years. The amount of people who, they almost have kind of things built into their kit that can be used to do the same thing that 5 or 6 years ago you'd have to go into a lab and you'd have to wear one of those big face masks just in order to get. Okay, so I mean, do you think that at the moment coaches are doing enough to utilize all of this data that they're collecting in an effective way?
Yes, George, this is a very difficult question to answer, to be honest with you. I would say it depends a lot on the context in which the coach is working. The big distance between different sports. You have some sports where you have quite a big performance analysis staff. staff that could collect data, crunch the data, give the metrics back to the coach. In other sports, it's the coach who has to do everything on his or her own. They would be not only collecting the data, but also analyzing the data, coaching the athletes, making sure the recovery process is in place, the athletes are healthy. And when you look at the second case, I would say that the coaches are not using metrics as much as they would like to. Not that they're not able to. They are perfectly able to. It's just that there's so much on their plates. So, whereas on the other hand, when you have quite a big performance analysis team, or even not that big, a small one, that would be enough to really get to the coach the metrics that they're after. And there's quite a big challenge in terms of asking ourselves the right questions before going out and chasing the numbers. Because the last thing that anyone wants to do is to begin collecting numbers and then figuring out what those numbers are going to tell them. It's just going to be an endless process, and most probably some energy and some time will be could be better invested.
Yeah, yeah, I think that. Yeah, we're finding that over here as well. With some of the people I speak to, it is a case of almost being bombarded with a little bit, kind of too much. Well, kind of too much information, and then also kind of too much to do in terms of the kind of performance playing and actual coaching side. Yeah, and I mean we are seeing kind of increased use of kind of analyst teams, that kind of thing. So yeah, I think that's fantastic. So I mean, what have you enjoyed most about your work, with the US Olympic team?
I've been with the U.S. Olympic team since October 2012, so that was immediately after the London Olympic and Paralympic Games. Working with Team USA is a challenge because you're working with some of the best athletes in the world, and you need to help the best get better at what they do already very, very, very well. What we say here on a daily basis is, how can we find that 1% edge? How can we get that very, very, very small margin that will make the difference between a gold medal and probably no medal at all. I want to say what I have enjoyed most working with the athletes, the coaches, and different technical staff in the U.S. is the openness to try out innovation. Probably it's built into the American culture in terms of let's try it out to figure if it's going to work for us or not. I've had the privilege of living in many, many different places throughout my life, and you don't get that flexibility and that willingness to put things through a process to help you understand if they're going to work out for you or not. So this openness, the acceptance of innovation, the acceptance of new, even though it might disrupt a little bit the work environment, has been awesome. And working in technology today, you have to have that kind of mentality. It's just unthinkable that a technology team or even a high performance team or a performance analysis team would be able to get to the top result in one day. Now you have to go through different paths, you got to bump into different obstacles, and if you don't have the support from your leadership and from your from the people who you are hoping to impact, it's going to be very hard to do a good job.
Well, it sounds great then. Yeah, it sounds like you're kind of in the perfect environment.
I can't complain.
Okay, and so the final question is, you work across a wide variety of sports, and what is the biggest challenge in working with this wide variety?
What is the biggest challenge? Um, well, variety in itself brings some challenges. The U.S. Olympic Committee, we are a non-government funded committee. Our funding and resources come from our sponsors and donors. We have, I should say, limited resources, limited manpower. So we are always challenged in terms of how do we think out of the box? How do we become creative in terms of getting the job done? And, working in the Olympic world, you get the chance and the privilege to work with really different sports, right? Different sports that have different performance requirements. They're totally different in their nature, and also they're very different in their culture. And I would say the biggest challenge is in terms of addressing the culture part of the sport. Technology today is at such an advanced level. We're really light years with respect to where we even thought we were going to be 20 years ago. Um, the cultural changes within the sports are not as quick. And this doesn't only apply to sports, of course, and it applies to even to, I see this in the medical world, I see this in the industrial world where I've had the chance to work in the past. And I've always been told that if you run fast, you can't expect everyone to run at the same pace as you. You need to figure out how you need to slow down to be able to bring everyone up to the same pace as yourself. Um, Working with different sports, the biggest challenges that we run into are not technology in nature. They're more about how do we communicate the benefits? How do we, help our coaches and our athletes and whole sports culture understand why it is so important to begin using technology, specifically wearable technology in the training. Um, it's not like this for all sports. There's quite a big number of sports who have adopted technology for many years now. They totally understand the benefits that technology can bring them. And the challenge over there is to focus on what is the technology path that we need to follow every 4 years that will give us that 1% improvement. So as you could tell, George, there are many challenges. They tend to vary in nature, and I should say this is really one part of what I do over here.
Okay, awesome. Well, Mounir, thank you very much for your time today, and I think yeah, everyone will agree that yeah, it's been your answers have been fantastic and incredibly enlightening. So yeah, thank you very much, and thank you everybody for watching.
Thank you for having me, George. It was a
Okay,
pleasure.
okay, thanks.